It is Tuesday, which of course means it's time to answer the questions that you guys send in every single week on the Brendan Plays forums at brendanplays.com/forums or in the YouTube comments section down below. We are available on Spreaker, which we are number 1 on wrestling shows and number 8 as well on sports, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. But this week, I really want to kind of direct you guys to getting on board on Stitcher. Basically, Stitcher is really the one place to go to for a lot of podcasts. It's very competitive over there, but we don't really have much of a presence on Stitcher. And I want to kind of change that. We're doing really well on Spreaker, but Stitcher is really the next step up. And I want you guys, if you can, get the Stitcher app and listen to the shows on Stitcher as well as supporting the shows on listen to it wherever you want, but if you can, start to listen to a little bit more on Stitcher and kind of support the show there. And it's also really good for Android if you don't have iTunes, and obviously, it's very accessible to get podcasts on there. But so if you're looking for an alternative on Android, Stitcher is really probably the best way to go about it. So I definitely recommend Stitcher users to use Stitcher for Android users, I should say. So, as well as that, iHeartRadio, I believe, is getting an app for the PlayStation, so you can even listen to the show on PlayStation now, which is pretty cool. So I think I'll probably listen to it once or twice on PlayStation, just to have it, just to try it out. But very, very cool. And this week's wrestling, a few things happen. I will say a few things happen. Not a lot, but we do have a lot of questions from you guys this week, so that's really, really cool. Really appreciate that. Some weeks, we don't have that many. Other weeks, we have a lot, and this week we do have quite a lot, so I do appreciate that. Before we get into this week's edition of Let's Talk Tuesdays, just a quick shout out to one of our Patreon supporters in Callum. His name is Callum, and Callum, he's a cool guy, very, very cool, and really want to say thanks to him. He's been a part of the forums. He's always helping me out, getting the 2K15 news, 2K16 news, I should say. I keep saying 2K15. I gotta adjust to the next year. Every time I try and do a video, sometimes I'm always like 2K15, especially when I'm doing NBA 2K15. Oh shit, it's 2K16 now. But anyway, so Callum, was a real big help on me getting W2K16 news. So I want to say thank you to him and a big shout out to him as well. We'll have some more Patreon shout outs in the future, but just a quick notice to all the Patreon people. I sent an email out to you guys today because I need you guys who have pledged more $10 or more to send me something to promote. So check your emails and send me something to promote. Otherwise, you won't be able to, you'll miss out. So just let me know what you guys want me to promote. And speaking of Patreon, the W2K16 special show, I'm going to try and get that done in the next couple of weeks as well. And that should be good. And I'm going to upload that probably I'll do that on the main channel as well. Down the line, before 2K16 launches, something like that. I don't know. But anyway, so let's get into this week's show, and we're going to start off with the NXT Respect show, which aired on the WWE Network. Now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't even watch anything but the Divas match, and I didn't even see the whole Divas match. So I keep saying women's match. But Sasha Banks and Bayley had a hell of a match. It was an Iron Man, Iron Woman, Iron Maiden match, whatever the hell they're going by, whatever they're trying to say it was. But I missed the first 10 minutes, I believe, but I saw the rest of it, and that was enough for me to see that it was a fantastic match. And it was a really, I liked it. I didn't really like the finish. That was probably my only concern with it. I think Bayley probably should have held on and, sent it to overtime, perhaps. But I suppose, I'm fine with it. I mean, after a week, when I first saw it, I was like, I would have liked to see that go overtime, but, now it's, a week later, I'm okay with it. So, I really enjoyed it, and, it just goes to show the women have all the talent to make something huge. They can main event, they can put on an Iron Man matchup. I would like to see the next step is get some stipulations in there. For how long have we seen women never really doing anything other than just standard matches? The Iron Woman match is a step up. That's huge. That's honestly something very, very different that we haven't really seen at all. So what I would like to see is a ladder match. I would like to see a tables match. I would like to see Extreme Rules match. I would like to see these different matches where all these weapons and things are being involved, because now I think you've got the women that can do it. I think you've got the women to make it believable. I think you've got the women to make it look good. So that's what I would like to see next from the women. And that's not just because, I want to see women, bash each other over the head with chairs. I just think that'd be something that would be really different and something we haven't seen yet. And that would be the next step for me. So let's see the women in this different situation. Let's see them in this different environment. Hell, you could even put them in a steel cage or something like that as well. I can't recall ever that happening, and perhaps it has only happened a couple times, where they actually do step it up and do something a little bit extreme, and I use that word very loosely, but that's what I would like to see next. And whether it's Sasha Banks and Bayley, I don't think it will be. I think Sasha Banks, that's her done now. That send off with the flowers and everything like that was basically her, last match on NXT. She's officially moved up for good, I would say. And I think right now that she's finished up on NXT, I think that means that she's going to start to get more of a prominent push on the main roster. And if she's not, then they're doing something very wrong, because she should be getting that push. And honestly, though, I think Sasha Banks has got a lot of great talent. I think she's really, really good. She's starting to really impress me. I wasn't overly a huge fan of her. She had some great matches, but I think the more I see of her, the more I like. I think she's really, really good. And I think she should be the face of this new Divas roster. I'm not going to say Divas Revolution, but the new, this new wave of Divas. I think she should be the number one diva in there, and I think she should be the star of the show. Not Paige, not Charlotte, not even Becky. I mean, Becky's not even anywhere near that yet. Not Nikki. I think Sasha Banks has to be that number one. And it makes me kind of worry, though, as well, for the NXT women's division. It's a little bit weak right now. You're bringing in Asuka. Is it Asuka? Asuka? I think I called her Asuka. Now I have realized it's Asuka or something like that. My terrible accent's botching it. But, so they brought her in, and I didn't see the match, but I heard she just basically destroyed Dana Brooke. So she might be the next one to step up, and we might see a Bayley versus Asuka match. If that's the case, that would be pretty damn good. I think that might be the one exciting match left in that women's division for the time being, until they start to kind of build up some more women and perhaps even bring in some new ones as well. So I think though, I've heard a lot of great things about NXT Respect. I just didn't really have the time to kind of watch the other matches on it. But maybe I'll get around to it later on. I've just got a really busy schedule right now. It's really crazy. So a lot of things that I'd like to watch, I can't really do it right now. I have to kind of put it off for a bit. Even Monday Night Raw was, it felt like I was wasting my time watching it. But I suppose that's a bit of a segue into Monday Night Raw. So we'll talk about Monday Night Raw and what happened this week. It wasn't a lot happened. I mean, last week was an absolute disaster of a show. That show was abysmal, terrible. This week was back to being okay. Not amazing, but there was a few things that I liked about it. I liked the opening segment between the New Day with Randy Orton and Dean Ambrose. The New Day, they're easily the best thing on the show. Easily. And the WWE have realized that, and now the WWE are really kind of, I don't know if I wouldn't say overexposing them or really having them on TV too much, but they really are giving them a lot to do. Even in the Lumberjack match in the main event, the New Day was a huge part of that. And they had the beatdown at the end and everything like that. They were a big part of that. So the New Day are getting a lot of TV time, a lot of segments, and I like it. I like it because the New Day are delivering. The New Day are fantastic, and it's great to see a team really getting over by themselves and really having a lot of fun, and it's really kind of transferring between, what I'm seeing on TV to me. I can really see that these guys are having a great time, and it's making me enjoy watching them too. And yeah, they've got some corny jokes, but that's the act, that's what they're all about, saying, oh, we got him over some stupid lame joke. It's silly, it's funny, I like it, it's entertaining, and the New Day are really, really good, and I think they are really, to me, saving the show to a degree, because a lot of the time, a lot of things on Raw are so bad, really bad, but the New Day are always a bright spot every single week, so I'm really enjoying them. And even the Ambrose and Orton interactions between them, I like that as well. And, Orton It seemed like he was having a good time out there too when the New Day came out. So I think everyone's just kind of enjoying working with the New Day. There was a Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar Hell in a Cell preview video. I really enjoyed that as well. I thought it was really well done. Actually, very much so hyped me up for the match. Even though it's a lot of footage we've seen over and over and over and over, like the WrestleMania match, there's still enough there to kind of really pump me up for it. And I think this match is going to be my most anticipated match, probably of the year. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one goes down, who's going to win, how does it play out. This match is the one I'm really looking forward to the most at Hell in a Cell. And I would like to see both guys on Raw a little bit more. Certainly in The Undertaker. I can understand Brock with such a huge price tag, but I don't get the reasoning behind Undertaker. I mean, does Undertaker just not want to work that many shows? Does Undertaker just want to work the 1 or 2 Raws, that's it? I don't get it. I don't know why Undertaker isn't on Raw more. You know, if anything, I would say he'd be on Raw the most out of the two of them. But it doesn't seem to be the case. So that's kind of left me scratching my head a little bit. What's going on there, and why isn't The Undertaker being featured more often? Is the WWE not wanting to book him? They want to keep him special. But in the current situation with the ratings, God, they need everyone they can get on these goddamn shows, because The Undertaker, at least, you know, to the casual viewer, they'll know who he is, and perhaps it might help them out the ratings a little bit. But yeah, just kind of makes me wonder. I mean, no Lesnar, no Taker this week. The build-up towards this Hell in a Cell match has really been non-existent. And the SummerSlam was okay, the build-up towards that, but this one, where's the build? There really isn't much, and I would like to see both guys go at that. I think they got both going to be on next week's Raw. Is that the show next week? I think it is, with Austin and Lesnar and Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. I think next week's the big show they're loading up. So next week's Raw should be a great one. I'm looking forward to seeing how that one plays out. But yeah, I would like to see a little bit more. I'm just, you know, I'm not seeing enough of The Undertaker and Lesnar here yet. But the preview video was great, and I'm honestly very excited to see it. John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler for the US Championship in an open challenge. Ziggler taking the challenge. Hell of a match. Really, really good match. This one tore the house down, I thought. But it was your typical Cena finish, which kind of frustrated me. I mean, Cena kicking out of finishes. When Dolph Ziggler hit the zigzag, I actually really went, holy shit, Dolph Ziggler could win this. I actually believed Ziggler was going to win. Then Cena kicked out. My hopes and dreams were crushed. But yeah, I mean, it was a good one. It was a great match. And basically, it's the same old thing with this US Championship Open Challenge. We've seen a lot of great matches come from it. Sometimes it's a little bit but this week was great. I thought last week was a bit but this week really turned it up and was really good. Last week I kind of mentioned the fact that John Cena is not really in a rivalry right now, and it seems as though that's still going to continue. Obviously, the rumor is he's taking time off after Hell in a Cell, and he won't be back until, well, I think the last show of the year, or something like that, late December. And the reason the reason that is because apparently he's going off to film a reality TV show and perhaps another show or movie. I think I didn't know what the other show was, but he's doing something else as well. So apparently he's going to be shooting a show, a reality show, for 6 weeks, and that's why he's taking the time off. So the original rumor was that he was going to be taking time off for personal reasons, but it seems as though he's actually going on to film a reality TV show. I mean, when does this guy ever have a freaking break? I mean, why couldn't the John Cena just go, you know what? I've been doing this for 10 years, busting my ass. Why don't I just have 2 weeks off? Just sit on my ass and do nothing, and maybe I'll, you know, catch a few waves. Actually, no, it's winter over there, isn't it? It's hot as hell in Australia, so I don't know. What would John Cena do in his off time? I have no idea. I think the guy... Would John Cena have any hobbies? I mean, I have no idea. What would John Cena do in his spare time? I really don't know. That's a good question. But yeah, so why doesn't John Cena just, you know what, take a break? The poor bastard. Why don't he just take some time off? But no, he's going away to film a reality show, which is not exactly going to be all that difficult to do. But you would think, all right, well, maybe I just, you know, take 6 weeks off, you know, spend time with the family, just relax a little bit, refresh myself. It's in the down period of the year, so it's not really going to matter if I'm there or not. Nope, I'm just going to go film another reality show and be on another TV show other than Raw. So But anyways, and I'm not really hating on that at all. It's cool that Cena's doing some other outside projects. I think Cena's going to take more time off in the future. I really kind of think that Cena's going to start transitioning into doing more movies and TV shows and things like that. I think that's where his passion is at the moment. I know his passion is WWE, but he's starting to really do a little bit more. For a period of time, he was doing a number of these things, then he stopped. But now he's starting to really pick it up again, and he's really going in and doing a few movies here and there, just filming a lot more things. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Cena take more time off in the future. But I guess the question remains coming from that, since Cena's going to be out for the next 2 months or so, what does WWE do? I mean, apparently the rumor is that Randy Orton might be taking some time off as well to go and get married. So he might be off for maybe 2 weeks. Knowing Randy Orton, he might be off for a month. So what does the WWE do? Do they start to push Roman Reigns into more of a prominent position? Do they try and push Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns into a bigger matchup? That rivalry, they try and elevate that even more. Do they start to give Dean Ambrose the ball? They've done that in the past. Certainly when Brock Lesnar wasn't around, Dean Ambrose really became a big focal point of the show. Certainly this time last year, when they had the Ambrose and Rollins match, Dean Ambrose was a huge part of the show. And then, of course, after WrestleMania, Dean Ambrose was once again a big part of the show. So Ambrose seems to be their go-to guy when someone's out, and they really try and put him in that prominent position. And they give him that 2-month push, and then they don't give a shit about him after that. So will we see that again? Probably. Will it be Dolph Ziggler? I mean, they gave him a big match on Raw this week. I don't think so. Cesaro's... Was he even on Raw this week? I mean, other than the Lumberjack? I don't even know. I think Cesaro... They've all but, given up on me. I think the WWE writers and the creative have basically kind of rebelled. They're basically thinking, all right, the fans love Cesaro. The people want to see Cesaro doing well, so you know what? Fuck you. We're not even going to have him have a match on Raw. We're not going to have him on the show. Screw it. We're not doing anything with Cesaro. And that's just WWE's way of just giving us what they want, what we want. The WWE are all about, we want to give the people what they want. And the people who have all these Cesaro section signs, and people online are saying, we want Cesaro, Cesaro, Cesaro. And where is Cesaro? In the Lumberjacks. But anyways, I mean, I don't know who else is going to be really given the ball. I think it's probably just going to be Ambrose. Probably Reigns to get a little bit more TV time. So, I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see. I think this is an opportunity for the WWE to do something here. Push somebody. But will they take it? I highly doubt it. The Kane storyline I'm really liking as well. They had the whole thing this week on Raw that, the phone reception was bad. The Authority couldn't make it. I actually like that. I actually like the way that they did that. The Authority, oh man, we can't be there. And Stephanie in the background getting pissed off. I actually like that. I thought that was pretty cool. But it was something different as well. So I like that. And Kane, I'm going to book myself in the main event. And there's nothing really anybody can do about it. Triple H didn't want him to do it. And, well, Kane just turned to the demon and he came out and, well, he ended up getting the tombstone on Rollins. So another thing I liked, Seth Rollins, we didn't suffer a big 20-minute Seth Rollins promo this week. And he wasn't really a vocal point in the show. He came out really towards the end of the show. So for the first couple of hours, there was really nothing to do with Seth Rollins. So I was a little surprised by that. But I think perhaps they might be listening. I doubt it, but perhaps there is a chance they might be listening to some feedback online where a lot of people are really kind of saying Seth Rollins is just being overexposed a little bit too much. Some shows have had Seth Rollins every second segment, so there's no real surprise that a lot of people are getting a little bit tired of him. So sometimes less is more, and I thought less is more was certainly prominent in today's show. We didn't see that much of Seth Rollins, and I thought that was a good thing. Having come out, they did the one backstage thing with the Big Show and before his match, so it was tied in together, and then they had the match at the end. So I thought that was a good thing, that Seth wasn't really exposed a lot. Kane obviously had a lot of TV time, but that wasn't bad TV time. It kind of set up for the finish at the end of the show. And it was only a couple minutes. It wasn't like a big, long, drawn-out promo. It was fine. So I'm glad they're not really doing too much of Seth Rollins. I think, too much of Seth is not a great thing. He's a decent talker. He's not a great promo. I wouldn't want to hear him half an hour or talking for an hour. It's not like a Paul Heyman where I can listen to the guy talk all day long. Seth Rollins, you talk for 5-10 minutes. Okay, I've had enough. That's good. We're good. Okay, Seth, that's enough. But the WWE like to think Seth Rollins is Bobby Heenan or something like that. He can talk all day and all day. And it's not a great thing. It's not really working out all that well. So a little bit less from Seth Rollins tonight was definitely a good thing. And I don't really want to comment about the Lumberjack match. Not really much to say. It was what it was. I mean, you expected a Lumberjack match. Everyone brawling with each other. I mean, when is there a Lumberjack where that does not happen? I don't know. But one last thing on Monday Night Raw. The Summer Rae and Rusev angle seems to be done. I mean, Rusev, I don't know if he gone fucked up or what happened, but he actually got engaged to Lana in real life. So the WWE did probably the smart thing, honestly, and played off at it. They used it and tied it into their actual storylines, because if they didn't, it would make no sense at all, because everyone is online, everyone realizes that Rusev and Lana are still a thing. So the fact that WWE actually went, you know what, we can't ignore this, we just have to go with it, is a good thing. I mean, last week, honestly though, like, it's a bit of a major fuck up though. I mean, last week they had Summer Rae proposing to Rusev, yeah, once I get some gold, then I'll definitely get engaged to you. And then the next week Rusev's engaged to Lana, so it's kind of like, what the fuck. And last time we saw Lana on TV, she was pissed off at Rusev. So now they have to kind of get Lana in there and kind of, sort this situation out. So I wonder how they're going to do that, and how they're going to kind of break away Ziggler and Lana, even though there's no talk of Lana at all with Dolph Ziggler anymore, so I don't even know what's going on there. So now that Lana's off TV, it's like she doesn't exist anymore until, well, at least now. But I'm very intrigued to see how they kind of solve this situation. Maybe perhaps Lana and Rusev were, secretly together all along, and they were just playing along and kind of, I don't even know. I can't make sense of this nonsense. I can't. I don't know how they can fix this situation. So, hey, but that's why they hire 50 writers to figure it out. I'm just a guy with a microphone who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I have no idea. So, good luck to them. Try and fix that storyline. If you have a suggestion, how the hell should they fix this? Shoot me a comment in the comment section down below. But that's really all I have to say about this week's Monday Night Raw. Not a lot really happened. It was a bit of a kind of show. It was decent. I didn't feel like it dragged on like last week's show. I didn't feel like it was, torture, but it was alright. I didn't mind it. It was some things I definitely liked about it, that's for sure. And, certainly the New Day stuff and the Ziggler and Cena match is great. So, some highlights for sure. And Hell in a Cell, some good matches are going to be on that show. And I'm looking forward to seeing the kind of next couple of weeks. Certainly next week's Raw, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that one goes down. And that should be a good show. Hopefully they do go all out and really deliver a great one. So I guess we'll move on to what is Brendan playing. And this week I actually started playing a lot. And this week was a great week in gaming. That's why I want to kind of spend some time on it. We had the Star Wars beta, Star Wars Battlefront beta. And I kind of talked about that last week, how I was really looking forward to playing the beta. And I wasn't exactly a big fan of Star Wars. And some of you guys are like, oh my god, I can't believe you don't watch Star Wars. What's wrong with you? I wanted to unsubscribe because of it. And I know that's a joke. But, yeah, I mean, I'm just not a big fan of the sci-fi genre and movies in general. I've watched a bit of Star Wars, and it's not a bad movie. I just couldn't really get into it. It's just not my cup of tea. One day I probably will get down and kind of try and watch them and enjoy them. But I do like the games. In Star Wars Battlefront, I'm a big shooter fan. So first-person shooter is my bread and butter. That's my go-to game. That's my favorite type of genre. And I really like this game. I actually think this game is really, really good. And some people have been asking me, what would I choose? What beta was better? Star Wars or Black Ops 3? And honestly, I'd say, and beta-wise, definitely Black Ops 3 had the better beta. But what game would I pick if I can only pick one? I was leaning towards Star Wars, because I think Star Wars is just fresh, it's just different, it's just, I don't know, it's just exciting. I just think it's not too futuristic for my liking. Like, it's not like you're flying up in the air. You can jetpack and things like that, but it's not a huge impact on it. But I just feel as though the gunplay and just the movement and just the maps itself, the map flow, I just really like it. I just think it's a good fit for me. I like DICE, I like Battlefield, so it's a nice overall fit. And I'm very, very happy to have got a chance to play this beta, because I wasn't exactly sold on it at all. In fact, I probably wasn't going to get the game, but the beta now has probably sold it to me, and I think I'll definitely be picking it up when it comes out next month. So, Star Wars beta, I think the beta might still just be going, if not ended by now. But if you didn't get a chance to play the beta, make sure you check out some gameplay online, because there's a lot of fun, really, really fun game, and it gets a thumbs up from me. I definitely will be picking it up later on. The only problem is that it comes out around about the time that Black Ops and Fallout come out, so the timing of the game release is not good. I don't know why EA and DICE and the Battlefield series and now Star Wars, I don't know why they don't release in a February or a March even, because in November there's so many games. October, November, and even a little bit to a degree December, there are so many new games coming out that it can just get lost in the shuffle. You know, with a Fallout, with a Black Ops, there's so many huge top-of-the-line games dropping, and I can really see Star Wars just kind of being left behind a little bit. And that's also what's happened in Battlefield. You know, when they tried Medal of Honor as well, it just releases at a bad time. I don't know why they keep on persisting with the October releases. This year it's now November. To me, if I'm EA, I'm releasing my game in February, because on Black Ops and every Call of Duty, you know, you play for 2-3 months, you love it, and then after 3 months, you hate it. And after that, you're looking for a new game. Oh, look, here's a new Battlefield. Here's Star Wars coming out 3 months after I've had Black Ops, and then you have a whole new market of opportunity for all these other gamers, all these casual shooter players that can come in and capitalize on that situation. So I don't know why they don't really capitalize on that, and instead they kind of persist for a November launch window, which is not good. It's just not good. And honestly, I'll be playing Fallout. I don't even care. I mean, I probably get Black Ops and play it for 3 days, and then when Fallout drops it, I'm not going to play Black Ops. I'm not going to play anything other than Fallout, because Fallout is going to be my go-to. So I just think some of these games and the developers have to kind of wonder what is going on. I get the reason why they release in November, because Christmas is in December. A lot of parents will get their children games for Christmas, and that gives you a big opportunity for more sales. But in terms of my personal opinion, if you're trying to attract a broader audience, I think you're better off getting a game out in February, March, and even April, because those are the months that, yes, there's a few games that are coming out, and that just sometimes there's a bit of an opportunity. And certainly in like July and August and June, those are the months that you want to avoid, because no one's playing games to a degree. I mean, there's no games that ever come out then, because of good reason. But so I just think right now that Battlefield and certainly Star Wars might just get lost in the shuffle. But I definitely really enjoyed the beta. Also, my friend, he hooked me up. My God, did he hook me up with a lot of games. He gave me like 20 games this week. So I've got a lot of new games to play. Got the Uncharted collection, and Uncharted is honestly probably my favorite series ever. If not, it's in my top 3. It's right up there. I love Uncharted, and I started playing the first one again. I've already finished all 3 2 times, and I just love them. So great to have the Uncharted collection. I was not going to get it, but my friend gave it to me, so why not? I also got the Borderlands collection as well. So I didn't get a chance to play the pre-sequel. Pre-sequel, I think it's what's called. I didn't get a chance to play that one because it was on the PS3, and I've already moved on to the PS4. So I didn't get a chance to play that, so I'm really happy that I got that chance now, and I'm really enjoying it. I already finished Borderlands 2, so I don't know if I'll actually play that, but definitely enjoyed playing Borderlands again. It's something that I really missed. I really do like Borderlands. I didn't like the first one, but definitely the second one, and now the prequel, is really, really good. So I'm enjoying that. And finally, I got FIFA 16 after 3 years of not getting a FIFA. I decided to finally pick one up. I decided to get FIFA 16. I kind of told myself a few years ago that I wanted to get FIFA every couple of years, and I was reluctant to get 14. 15, I almost pulled the trigger, but 16, I thought it was time to get another one, and I'm really enjoying it. Getting into Ultimate Team as well. I've got a full Brazilian team at the moment. I'm really trying to build my team up. I'm trying to find ways to get coins. I'm trying to buy things on the market cheap. I'm trying to sell them for a profit. It's fun. I mean, I do like that aspect of it, and I've played a little bit of the general manager thing. Haven't played the career yet, but I'm liking it. I'm really enjoying it, and it's good to be back on FIFA. I mean, it's taken up a lot of my time. I haven't been playing much of NBA or anything else. I've just been playing a bit of FIFA mainly. But FIFA is certainly a game that I think is really good to have in your collection, because you can just put it on, you can play a couple games, and you can move on. That's kind of what I'm like with FIFA. It's not a game I can sit out and play all day, but I can play a couple games a day and be happy and kind of move on. But it's good to have, and I'm really enjoying FIFA, and certainly Ultimate Team as well. So a lot of things I've been playing this week. It's good to be back playing, man. I mean, it's something I've been missing. Just a lot of my games, I've just been looking at them, I start playing them, and I'm just not liking them at all. So I'm glad to be actually playing something again, because honestly, it's been a little bit boring without having much to play. And I haven't been watching much TV either, so I don't know what I've been doing. I've just been making videos, and that's just, whilst it's exciting and fun, but it can also be a bit of a chore sometimes. Certainly when you're recording all this footage and you're not actually playing the game for fun, so to say, you know. But it's good to be back playing again, and I'm really enjoying it. So we have a lot of questions this week as well, and I'm going to start it off this week with the voicemails, and we'll get into a lot of different things. So let's get straight into it.
Hey Brennan, this is Matt from New Jersey. What are your thoughts on Batista and Randy Orton not being a part of WrestleMania? And if Dolph Ziggler earns a title shot and wins the title, or goes to SmackDown and wins that title, will he lose the United States Championship? Alright, see ya.
Well, before any of you are confused as hell what's going on, he's talking about Universe Mode and the fact that Randy Orton and Batista aren't on the WrestleMania card in Universe Mode. So, the first question, what are thoughts about that? I think it's a little bit disappointing. Both guys who were main eventing last year can't find a spot in the card. I don't know, I just didn't really have anything for them. There just wasn't really much to give them. I mean, got a lot of other rivalries going on, a lot of places being filled. There wasn't really any multi-man matches that came about, which probably would have been where I would have inserted either of those guys. I was originally going to do a Raw vs. SmackDown match, but that's not going to happen. So I just didn't really have any suggestions or ideas for those guys, and I guess they're just going to have to miss out. So they had their time last year, and I suppose it's time to kind of give someone else a chance. So yeah, I'm just giving superstars a chance. But as for Dolph Ziggler as well, if he loses at WrestleMania and he has to go to SmackDown, I would say he will be stripped of the US Championship. I can't imagine The Rock letting him keep the title as a SmackDown guy, so I think Dolph Ziggler will probably lose the championship there.
Yo, Brendan, I was wondering which NXT superstar besides Finn Balor could you see becoming a World Heavyweight Champion, which NXT Diva could you see becoming a Divas Champion, and which NXT Tag Team could you see becoming WWE Tag Team Champions?
Alrighty, so straight away as a World Champion in WWE, I think Apollo Crews has everything, has all the tools, and he's really the only guy I can really see down there that might get that opportunity. As for the women, Bayley's pretty much a given. I think she'll be a women's champion, Divas champion one day. And tag team, I could see pretty much any of those tag teams because the tag team division is so thin right now. Really, any team that gains a bit of momentum can win the titles. I mean, look at the primetime players. A little bit of momentum, tag champions. Dudley Boys, they're going to win the tag titles just because of the Dudley Boys. New Day, have been doing well, so obviously they're tag team champions. There's only a couple of teams really going about in the tag team division right now, so there's anybody can come along with those titles. So I think the Vaudevillains, probably a good chance. Definitely Cass and Enzo as well. I think they're probably my main picks. I think those guys will be very, very successful on the main roster. So, yeah, there's a few names I can think of. I mean, there's a lot of people I think will probably win the championships. I could even see Dana Brooke probably getting it done. Asuka as well. It's not. The thing is, there's really not many guys I think that could be world champion in NXT. Honestly, I think Apollo Crews is probably the only one there. And tag champions, like I said, anybody could really win that. I mean, Jordan and Gable, I think, are also a good chance as well. Anybody could really do that.
Hey, Brendan, this is Mike from the forums, and I want to know, who are you excited to play as in WWE 2K16?
Well, Mike, I'm excited to play as Finn Balor and Kevin Owens. I don't know what's going on with your Mike. Yeah, Mike Adams shout out to him, cool guy. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with your mic there, man. It's a little bit quiet. Are you whispering late at night, trying not to be heard? But I think probably like, the usual Kevin Owens, Finn Balor. I'm even excited to play as the Terminator. I just want to see what he's like. So, new Sting. I'm excited to play as the new version of Sting. So there's a lot of guys I think it's going to be really cool. And there's a big roster, so there's a lot of people can really get pumped up to play as. So, yeah, take your pick. There's plenty. Okay, so that's all the voicemails we had this week. If you do want to leave a voicemail for next week's show, you can do it on the website, BrennanPlays.com. There's a big green button that says leave a voicemail for Let's Talk Tuesdays. Click on that and you can get going there. Some people have been wondering, you're not answering my voicemails. Why do I even bother sending them in? Sometimes the voicemails, they're not really questions. They're more so of a thank you or just a nice message to me. And I appreciate that. I really do. But I'm not going to put that on the show because that's something that I just listen to and appreciate. But it's not a question. So it needs to be a question that I'm going to put up. And sometimes the questions are too long. So anything that's really over 30 seconds is probably not going to be featured on it. So a lot of people have been sending me in questions like a minute and a half long, 2 minutes long. And if you can't give me a question under, or even 15 seconds, 30 seconds maximum, then it's something, wrong. So, yeah, so just keep it short and sweet, and that's more likely to get your voicemail heard. And certainly something I haven't already answered already. So something a bit different, like a Universe Mode question, for example, is a great way to get on and make sure you get answers. So something different that you wouldn't think I've already answered in the show is probably the best way to get on. So we have a few questions as well from the forums and the YouTube comments section. Let's get straight into them. The first one comes from Jacob Radley. He wants to know, what will the briefcase mean in the TLC match between Christian and Chris Jericho on Universe Mode? I don't think there's really going to be any meaning towards it. It's just a winner match, There's no ladder match in the game. I probably would just have like a ladder and, I would have rather a TLC match where there's a pinfall. But I guess just the briefcase is just going to be signify, the end of the feud. Whoever gets the briefcase at the end of it wins and, wins the rivalry. I don't know. But there really will be no significance. I did think about doing a loser must leave the brand, but we've already kind of got one of those going on, so I don't want to do too many of them. So it'll just be a signification of whoever, wins the feud, So there's nothing really, no meaning behind the briefcase there. Next one comes from El Took. I don't know really. I'm just going to say Took 12. He wants to know, what do you think WWE should do with Daniel Bryan when or if he does come back? I've been saying this a few times now. I think WWE really dropped the ball on Daniel Bryan. The guy was so over. The yes chants were ridiculous. And yes, he got injured a couple times. But when they brought him back and he got injured and had to vacate the Intercontinental Championship, they did nothing with him. And he only has concussions, so there's really no reason why he can't be out there in a authority figure role. I think, personally, he would have been a great way to kind of counteract the Authority. With so much history between the Authority and Daniel Bryan, it would make sense. So, Daniel Bryan being in a commissioner role, and being on TV, and going back and forth with the Authority, and having something a little bit different in an Authority figure role. So, Triple H and Daniel Bryan going back and forth with it. Kane and Daniel Bryan having some, power struggles. Daniel Bryan might, kind of give Seth Rollins a hard time, something like that, and you can go back and forth there. I just think it'd be really good interactions. We saw Daniel Bryan do a really great job with Kane and Team Hell No, so you could certainly do a lot of those types of segments, and I think it would really work very, very well. So I have no idea. I'm really scratching my head wondering why they never went about that, never decided to use Daniel Bryan at all, other than as a tough enough judge, which really wasn't that great. So I don't know, they're just kind of wasting the guy, aren't they? The guy was so over, and they just kind of wasted him. I think they really could have done a lot more with him. So if he does come back, I really just see him being slowly transitioned in as a mid-card to upper mid-card guy. He's obviously going to be pretty over, and the fans are going to love him, love to see him back, but I don't think he's going to be pushed into the main event. I think he could probably be one of those IC guys. Perhaps they might give him the US title, because apparently the Intercontinental Championship is a curse, so they might give him the US title instead, and just keep him around there. I just don't think, they're going to give him that trust that he could perhaps become a main event guy, which is a bit of a sad thing. We'll probably see the odd big-time match from him, but I don't think they're going to ever give him the belt again, at least not for a couple of years. If he has a couple of years where he's on the road full-time, and he's not getting injured, he's recovered, he's doing well, putting on great performances, then I think you could see Daniel Bryan back in the main event picture. But other than that, I just think they would bring him back as a bit of an upper mid-card role, and perhaps maybe not to the extent of a Dolph Ziggler. I think perhaps like a Randy Orton. He's the odd title match, but he's not going to be given the ball, and he'll be prominently featured every week, but he won't be the guy. This one comes from Afonso. I always say Alfonso. Afonso Henrique. He wants to know, Brendan, do you think the main event of WrestleMania 32 will be a triple threat between the Shield? No, definitely no. This match, if it was going to happen, should have happened a couple years ago. It's not going to happen now. I think a lot of people still think it's going to happen. I have no idea why. There is no reason why this is going to happen. There's no real connection. There's no real storyline. Nothing really leads to it at all. And if anything, it's, way too late. We've seen Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. We've seen Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. We've seen those guys a million times. Yes, we haven't seen Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. That's probably the one that I want to see. Perhaps you could just do that as a singles match at WrestleMania. Have Ambrose turn on Reigns or vice versa, and have a match there and conclude it at WrestleMania. That would be fine. But a Shield triple threat, I just don't think is a good idea, because it's done and dusted. It's long gone now. I did it in Universe mode, I did, and that's something that I would love to have seen. I would have loved to have seen a Shield triple threat. That's why I kind of went with it, because I thought, oh wow, I know that's a wasted opportunity. So I thought there's an opportunity to do it in my game, so I went with it. I thought, okay, that's cool. But in real life, I just don't think there's any real need to do it, and I don't think many people really want to see it. A couple of years ago, all for it, but now, not so much. This one comes from Alfonso again. Do you think the Divas will ever main event something on the main roster? Well, they could main event a Monday Night Raw, but I don't think they'll main event a pay-per-view ever. I just don't see that ever happening. It's the Divas are so far behind the main roster guys, the main event guys on the main roster. It's just ridiculous. On NXT, you can get away with it. You can do these crazy things, and it's not really going to affect anything. No one's really going to be like, main event is Sasha Banks versus Bayley. I'm subscribing to the network. No, you just be like, all right, cool, or you don't watch it. So it's not really a big deal. But in the main event on a WrestleMania or a pay-per-view or a SummerSlam like that, it is a big deal. So I don't think that will ever really happen. It's possible, but they're going to have two divas that are crazily over. I mean, even Trish and Lita couldn't get it done. So I highly doubt. I cannot see it ever happening. This one comes from Ryan BM. He wants to know, what did you think of James Storm wrestling on a NXT taping, and who from TNA do you think will be coming to WWE? James Storm is really the big talking point of this week, and NXT and James Storm, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people, I saw on Twitter, so many people were really happy to see him there, and that's cool. But to me, I was never really a big fan of James Storm. I mean, I saw him in TNA, and I was like, he's okay. Not a huge fan, but I will definitely check it out. I'm going to see how he goes. But I think it's another case of the WWE just bringing in these guys just to put over some people, just have some recognized names from the independents and in other promotions come in and work a short period of time and kind of put over some of their NXT guys and just allow them to work with some veterans. And I think that's fine. But I certainly don't think James Storm is going to be headlining WrestleMania anytime soon. I don't think James Storm is even going to make it to Monday Night Raw. I just think he's here for NXT, probably for a 6-month deal. Comes in, works some shows, has a few big match rivalries, and then he might move away and do something else. Go back to the independents and do something like that. I don't know. And he's been in TNA for such a long time. Who knows what TNA? If TNA wants him back, there's an option there. But who knows what's going to happen? Apparently, Billy Gunn is great friends with James Storm, and he's really the reason why they brought him in. So I don't know what's the deal there. I have no idea. So I'm all for James Storm coming in, but I just think the guy is 38 years old. So it just asks the question, if they're going to bring in James Storm, why haven't they brought in all these other guys who are definitely of age? All these other guys that can do it, who have proven that they are great talent still, but are on the higher end of the age level. Why don't they bring them in? For a long time there, it was all about if you're not under 30 years old, we're not even going to take a look at you. And now it seems as though with this new NXT thing, they're thinking, wow, anyone that's 35, this guy's 40 years old, but he can still do it. So we can bring him in and have him work at NXT, and it'll still be good. They've got this new mindset to it, and I like that. It gives more of an opportunity for these guys who are seasoned veterans to come in and work again. I think that's not a bad idea. So I don't know what's the deal with James Storm, if he's going to be there on an actual full-time basis, but I think for his sake, it's a good thing, but I was never really a big fan of him, so I'm not exactly thrilled. I'm a little surprised, if anything. I think I'm shocked to see him in NXT. I really thought he would just be on the independents, and that would be the end of James Storm. I really never thought he would ever come to NXT, because I just didn't think the WWE really had a radar on him. I don't think the WWE would ever really consider him, but they proved me wrong. And who else from TNA do I think will be coming to the WWE? If TNA does fold, EC3 has to be back in the company, that's for sure. The Hardy Boys, get Kurt Angle back, let him come home. Other than that, who else do you bring in? I mean, Bobby Roode, do you bring him in? He's up in the age now, but I suppose James Storm's there, so there's nothing really stopping him. Austin Aries, do you bring him in? He's a very small guy, obviously great worker, but I don't know, it kind of makes you wonder, who will they bring in? Because TNA doesn't have a lot of great young talent coming through. I mean, the Wolves, I would probably bring in the Wolves, but, Richards is a bit of a dick, so who knows? But I just don't know. I don't think there's going to be that many guys coming in from TNA to NXT, or WWE for that matter as well, so we'll have to wait and see. This one comes from Harrison Bittner. What are your thoughts on James Storm debuting on NXT, and do you think he could become a good main event guy when he gets on the main roster? And like I said, I don't think James Storm is going to get on the main roster. I really don't. I think he's a guy, he's just going to be in there for a short period of time, working NXT, putting over some guys. If he gets to the main roster, I'll be shocked. I don't even think Samoa Joe is going to make it to the main roster, let alone James Storm. I mean, I think James Storm's just going to be there as a similar kind of deal to Rhino. He'll work some independent shows, and he'll just be on a bit of an open kind of contract to the WWE, and he'll be allowed to kind of work some other shows if he wishes to. I don't think they'll let him work TNA, but I don't know. I don't know. Will he sign to a full-time deal with the WWE? Who knows? But I just don't think it's going to happen. The guy's 38, and with the track record that the WWE has, the likelihood of them bringing in a 38-year-old who essentially is a no-name to the majority of wrestling fans. Some people have no idea about anybody in TNA, which blows my mind, but it's true. So the guy coming in and working on the main roster is very, very unlikely, in my opinion. Just because of his age factor. Talent-wise, he's pretty good. There's no reason why his talent will hold him back. I just think age-wise is really the one thing that's going to stop him. This one is from Oakley Tiger. Are there any things that you've done in your universe mode that you would like to see in real life? For example, I think Reigns as a heel with Paul Heyman would be awesome. I kind of loosely booked universe mode about the things that I'd like to see in real life. Dolph Ziggler getting a big-time push, Kevin Owens being pushed into the main event and becoming a big deal, Sting and Undertaker having a big-time rivalry. Some of these things I definitely would have loved to see in real life, which is why I kind of do it in the game. I would have loved to have seen The Rock and Randy Orton have a rivalry. So a few things definitely, I would like to see would like to see in real life. I think Paul Heyman, should be with someone like Roman Reigns. I think that would definitely be a good fit. So I'm all for that as well. This one comes from Edgar. I think I botched his name last week, and he told me what the correct pronunciation was, but I'm just going to leave it alone this week. I'm just going to say Edgar. He knows who he is, but he wants to know, what is your least favorite title design in the WWE, and how would you change it? Definitely the tag titles are terrible. The copper, ugly, bronze, whatever the hell you want to call it, those titles are dreadful. They have to go. Even the Divas title, I can tolerate it but the tag titles are terrible. I love the World Tag titles. They look beautiful. Even the old WWE Tag titles look nice. I definitely would have kept the World Tag titles. I don't know why they got rid of them. They look beautiful. But now these ugly, copper plates thing got going on, it's terrible. Get rid of it. This one comes from 37 Will Dog. Could it be possible that WWE wants Rollins' title reign to last longer than CM Punk's as another shot at Punk? Yeah, it's possible, but I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, Seth Rollins, the thing is, there's Sheamus with the Money in the Bank. He's due to cash that in at some point. That's going to happen soon, and it's unlikely WrestleMania will have Seth Rollins main eventing as the champion, so I cannot see it happening. So I think, honestly, Seth Rollins is probably due to lose that championship pretty soon, actually. I mean, he's had a pretty long title reign, but 434 days is a long time, and we've already kind of been through that in recent memory, so I don't think many people would like to see Seth Rollins hold the title for that long. I probably would be one of those. I don't think I really want him to do that. I don't want Sheamus to be champion, so that's kind of why I'm happy Rollins still has the belt, because the alternative is Sheamus. So I'm all for Seth Rollins if it's Sheamus as the alternative. But yeah, I think at WrestleMania, I think it's time to have someone different there at least. So that's, only a year, so he's not even going to get close. This one comes from Nabaco7. Thoughts on Chad Gable and the comparisons to Kurt Angle? What do you think of the Full Sail crowd singing his name in Kurt Angle's theme song music rhythm? No surprise. I mean, there's a lot of comparisons between Gable and Angle. I think they're both Olympic wrestlers and things like that, so they've got a very similar background, so there's no real surprise. I haven't seen much of Chad Gable, so I'm not going to comment. I haven't really seen anything at all, honestly. I don't watch NXT on a week-to-week basis, and I didn't even really watch NXT TakeOver, so yes, my NXT viewing has been very limited, but yeah, I mean, there's no surprise. If you've got a guy with a very similar background to someone who's a notable name, you're obviously going to get the comparisons. Look at Ryback. He's bald and he's intense, so he got compared to Goldberg. It's always going to happen, so there's no surprise that Gable is getting compared to Angle. It's not a bad thing, he could play off that, who knows. Next one comes from The Voice. If you had a chance to manage any mid-carder on the current roster, who would it be? He worded it wrong. Who would it be? It would definitely be Cesaro. The guy is a machine, the guy is a beast, and if he can't talk, well then you need someone to talk for him. So if I got to pick, I would definitely be managing Cesaro, because he's a guy who's legitimate. You can legit think this guy is going to be a big star. He's so strong. The things he can do in the ring is just unbelievable. He is the real deal, and if I'm going to manage someone, I want to manage a future star. So that would definitely be Cesaro. And final question, today's episode comes from Flynn. How would you book writing Cena of TV for when he does take his hiatus? Man, this is a tough one, because the WWE is so reluctant to do like an injury angle for Cena. The only real way that I can see anything happening, because the last couple of weeks they've kind of played off Cena and the New Day, and they kind of talked about how the New Day kind of took over Raw and how they've dominated in the last few weeks. So I would have the New Day just beat the crap out of Cena and take him out for a couple months. And, Cena comes back and I guess has the big rivalry with the New Day later on or something like that. I don't know. Or perhaps just comes in and beats all three of them in a handicap match. But that's, John Cena. But, I just think that's really the only plausible way. I mean, how else would you do it? He's not really in a rivalry with anyone. So perhaps you say, look, Cena comes out and says, you know what, I'm taking 6 weeks off. There's no one good enough for my US title. You can't do that because it's John Cena. He's such a fighting guy. If he was a heel, you could have Cena be like, you know what, there's no one here to compete for my US title. I've beaten everyone. I'll come back in 2 months and hopefully there's someone I can face. If only that was the case, but it can't happen because it's John Cena and he has to be the fighting, happy-go-lucky babyface champion. So I guess the only way to really do it, from what I can see, is an injury kind of angle. Have the New Day do it and have Cena come back and probably beat all three. But that's all I've got. If you have a suggestion, let me know in the comment section down below. Guys, thank you so much for listening in on this week's Let's Talk Tuesdays. If you do have a question, make sure you submit it in next week's episode by leaving a comment in the comment section down below or at the forums at brendanplays.com/forums. Leave a voicemail as well whilst you're on the website, brendanplays.com. Support the Patreon as well. Make sure you keep checking that out. And if you can pledge, that would be such appreciated. And I will get those shout outs done next week. So make sure if you are a Patreon user, check your emails. I've got something there for you. Keep supporting the show. We're doing very well on Spreaker, but I need you guys to help me out on Stitcher. So even if you listen on YouTube, if you can, get on Stitcher and download the show there and just support the show there. That'd be amazing. The link to that will be in the description down below. And just kind of support the show and try and get us up in the ratings and try and get the show out there to as many people as we can. Just want to give a quick thanks to everyone that keeps supporting the show week to week. And I know it's a bit of a downtime in wrestling, and that's why we've had a bit of a shorter show today. But I want to thank everyone that keeps on sending in the questions every single week. Even if I don't get to your questions, I really appreciate that, and I check out and read all of your questions, so don't worry. Keep on sending them in. You'll get your questions answered eventually. So thanks so much again for listening in, guys, and I'll see you all next Tuesday.